dude. This is life. Everything's great.
Okay.
Really
You've been
is.
like super inspirational on like Facebook these days.
Oh, I'm just being me. Like
It's
it's yeah, everything's all mindset. You know.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
very true.
yeah, the whole bullshit of ego and everything else is garbage. It's all up here, and whatever you perceive, that's what your life's going to be. It
Yeah,
really is
Tim
like
is
that
some
simple.
knowledge. That's very true.
Yeah,
People always
in
ask
the
me,
first
like,
2 minutes.
There you go.
Yeah, there you
They're
go.
always like, wow, Ryan, you're so happy, you're so positive, like all the time. Like, how do you do that? And I'm like, happiness is a choice.
Yes, it
You
is.
have to.
It's not a feeling.
It's
It's
not
a
a feeling. You got
choice.
to choose to be happy.
Yeah, there was a New Yorker had a magazine cover that
Mhm.
was "Get Happy," and that so bothered me because they make it look like it's something you need to obtain, when it's like you already got happiness. You don't need to get it. You already have it. Just do you want to show it off? That's really all it is. You know.
Well, my thing is, why would you not want to show it off? Like, what else would you want to show? Like, I don't want to show people that I'm like angry or pissed off. And,
I don't know. I'm cranky as fuck all the time.
yeah, you are, and I love it.
Well,
But you do
I
it
do
in a
think-
comedic way. It's so great, though.
I do think you need a spectrum, because like, you know, life has that. But
This
at
is
the
true.
same time, it is all like how we were just, you know, this guy just died, and we just found some great ways to look at it. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Wherein, and that just, it comes down to here, this fucking our hard drive, you know,
Right.
of human beings, and there's so much shit out there that constantly tries to make you feel as if you're not good enough. You got something wrong. There's some blemish. You have to buy this product, and no, you're perfection from the moment you're born, and you will be that until you die, and probably even afterwards.
Yeah, and I also feel like as comics, like we're hardwired to find funny in obscure ways. Like
Yeah.
you know, like we might have gone immediately to like gallows humor, but like our first instinct is to find the humor in that situation. It's just like nobody was just like, oh my god, did he have family looking for him? It's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just like that. Like I feel like that's a normal person to like, oh my god, his family must be really upset. Well, like didn't I realize they didn't talk to him for that? Like we immediately started trying to find a joke in it, and not that I'm trying to trivialize this man's like passing or his life or anything like that, but like I feel like as comics, when something is uncomfortable, we just try to release that valve of like, oh, let's not make this so uncomfortable.
There's
anymore.
nothing like getting a laugh on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's the best.
Yeah, and I think like that's like another reason why like I enjoy a lot of your stuff is because like you do like find like that valve of like releasing something that could be uncomfortable, and then you're just like, and you're like, oh no, that's funny, like
Yeah.
you know, and I think that you do that like really
I
skillfully.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
And since we're waxing each other's cars,
Yeah.
I do want to say this. I love you to death. There's some things, I don't know, things are happening now, kind of dope, but you were a person when I didn't have things happening. You always booked me. You've always supported me. And it's utterly fantastic to be here. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, no, thanks for doing it.
Yeah,
you know?
my pleasure.
Yeah.
My
Well, that's
complete
where it's
pleasure.
the best. People don't be knowing. She be putting people on. You in New York City? You a
Yeah,
comedian?
she
you
does,
need to get on?
but she also
This is who
does.
you talk to. She can put you on.
She does do this bullshit of like, I'm cranky and, but it's like, no, there's
Wait.
such a big heart.
Right, she's so sweet. I've never seen you turn anybody away from a show because they didn't have, because you know it's a bringer. You don't have anybody, you didn't bring nobody. You still let people go up, which I had to learn that the hard way. That like there are a lot of producers that are not like that.
Yeah.
You book a show, you know, bring people, they will tell you you're not doing nothing.
By the way, this podcast is sponsored by,
We are
what is
not.
this?
Wait,
Yeah,
We're
we
not
you can't-
sponsored.
We're
Why
not.
We're
not?
not sponsored.
Why not?
Thanks,
Why
we
not?
appreciate it.
Elias and Space Dust IPA. I'm very excited to sip on this. It's
Is it
8.2
delicious?
alcohol. I don't know yet.
It's delicious.
But it
I
looks-
liked it though.
It looks like a Garbage Pail Kid. And
Right?
That
Spitting
is
out
really,
stars.
I don't
Look,
know
right
if you
here.
can see
Yeah.
It's
that, but
crazy.
Yeah, no,
it's fucking
it's-
great. This is great.
It's actually pretty delicious. Like when I saw
All
it,
right.
so I'm a
That's-
sucker
we're in
for
the
marketing,
store.
and I'm just like, I am like if you're a beer or wine and like you have a cute label or a funny
Oh.
name, It's good, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not a huge IPA fan, but this is pretty smooth.
It's not like super florally. It's
Yeah.
not like really bitter.
You
It's
totally
like,
sounded like a kid when you picked it out too. You're like,
it's like
let's get the Elysian Dust IPA.
Oh, it's Elysian? Is that how you
Elysian
say it?
Space Dust IPA.
I just
Yeah,
said.
it's fantastic.
I'm like, let's get the space dust. It looks cute. That's what I
Oh,
said.
yeah. And it's perfect for where my mindset is.
Yeah,
Space
space
dust,
dust.
it's
Yeah,
wicked.
you're
Yeah.
like you're all into it.
That's what we all are.
So, Tim, did you go to the Pride Parade?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Did you see Gaga?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Well, maybe I did. What I do on Pride, 7 of the last 10 years, I eat mushrooms.
You took mushrooms and went to Pride?
Yeah, I ate the mushrooms.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's the greatest. And this is the first year I ever invited people to come with me. So I
Oh,
called
because
it,
usually you just go by yourself.
I just go by myself.
You roll on mushrooms by yourself
Yes.
at Pride.
Yes. Yes. It's the greatest day.
It's like mind blowing right there.
First of all, the colors are fantastic.
Yeah.
It's better than New Year's Eve. It's better than Halloween. It's better than 4th of July. It's the greatest day to trip in New York City. The colors are fantastic. The vibe is absolutely nothing but love.
Yeah.
And no matter how ridiculous you think you're being, there's someone 2 feet from you
Way
being way more ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
so amazing.
Like, I was tripping my face off, and there's a dude next to me in a thong with a raccoon tail, and I'm like, I'm fine. And that's all he was wearing. I'm like, I'm fine. This is great.
Oh yeah, literally people are like naked.
Yeah, we started
so
we started Strawberry Fields, and we work our way down to
Oh, so you
Washington
walked
Square.
the whole
Yes.
parade.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I want to be a part of it. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. And this year was the first time I brought people, and I think next year.
You're not bringing people.
No, I am.
Yeah.
No, because I ended up. It was great. I ended up being like a spiritual tour guide
Yeah.
of like the
Right.
parade,
Yeah.
and whatever anyone needed. It's not that I babysat, but it was very like I got a lot of answers. So it was like anything. I was that guy that's like, no, you're great. Keep going. There's one dude. Yeah, I could mention his name, John Ortiz. He felt like every dog was looking at him with a message, so he had to talk to every single dog.
And there's a but there's a lot of dogs. There's a lot
right?
of dogs at Pride.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah!
Everybody brings their dogs.
Especially in Central Park, there's so many.
Yeah.
Like
And
that's like
he
an
would-
8-hour feat.
Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You're just talking all
To
the
every
dogs.
other dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended with we jumped in the fountain in Washington Square Park.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like
God.
that was the closer. Well, then we went to the Pelican Inn, which was actually a shitload of fun. Got a couple pictures, and then we did a bike.
And then you did a mic?
Yeah, like
You're
9:30.
fucking
after the
beast.
parade.
Dude,
Yeah.
it was- dude,
After
it
the
was-
That's
parade.
beast mode.
Dude, it was so
For
great.
real.
It was so great. Like, it's something I always do, and I enjoy the shit out of it. And then these people came with me, and the whole time there was nothing but smiles, and all of them were just like, "This is the greatest day I've had in New York City." And I'm just like, "This is great." So next year, I'm going to try to get a sponsor. I'm going to do an event. I'm going to make bracelets for everybody. Like
Let
the
me know. I want to be
8th annual.
involved.
Yeah, I definitely will. It's the I call it the Gay Warner Trip Parade with Pride.
Oh.
That's
Okay.
what I'm titling it. Yeah. And so next year we're going to do the same thing. We're going to meet at like 1:00 at Strawberry Fields because it's such a great vibe with that Imagine. And then
Right.
you got when we started there was a dude playing on a 12-string guitar. He was playing Imagine and like Strawberry Fields and like all these Beatles songs, and it just
Kicked
was
it off.
it was a great way to start.
Yeah.
And then basically it was like, all right, Tim, where do we go? And when we're in Central Park, I was just like, all right, let's follow the music. So there was like a trumpet player, there was a jazz quartet. We just followed music on our way south.
Okay.
And then shit gets weird when you get out of Central Park because it's probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours actually, because we laid in the
By the time you get
grass.
to like West 4th
Yeah.
Street.
But once you get but even on 59th, when like the buildings start and then the whole like human construction thing starts,
Oh.
then it's kind of a small mind fuck for about 5 blocks.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping next year to get at least 10 people. And I think I'm going to make I really think I'm going to make this a thing every year.
I'm
Yeah,
down.
no, you
I'm
probably
so
will.
down.
Like,
Yeah,
how
do it.
many people did you have so like this year?
I had 3 others.
Okay.
And it was completely random. I just put a thing on Facebook, like, this is what I do. If anyone wants to come along, DM me. They DM me, and then we met up, and then it was such a great day. And I love how not just mushrooms, but how hallucinogenics can completely reset your mind.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, you taking life too seriously? Well, knock it off, stupid. You don't even exist. Like, stop.
Right.
You're just an energy. So be the greatest energy you can be. Okay, got it. And I just constantly, people were like, dude, am I all right? It's like, dude, you're great. You're utterly beautiful. Let's keep walking.
Yeah.
You know? It
I've
seems
never
like it
taken
was a
hallucinogen.
year ago.
Have you ever taken
Really?
Yeah, never done like
Never done
shrooms,
acid or-
Shrooms, acid.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would highly recommend it.
the closest
to
thing
everybody.
that I've ever done was like a robo-bust, and I know that's not necessarily
What,
like
Robitussin?
yeah,
Okay.
it's not necessarily like a hallucinogen, but like, so I did that in college like twice. The last time that I did it, I just remember it was like it just started to snow, and I like lost all my friends that I had done it with, and I started walking and outside, and the path for like because I was at, like by the dorms, but the path was like covered with like the faintest amount of snow, and the lights were hitting it, and the whole path looked like it was like copper pennies,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so like I was just like, oh, this path looks like the shiniest pennies, and so like I was just like walking down the copper path. And so I just kept walking until like I got to a building, and there was only like one light on in the building. And so then I was just like, I'm going to go to that room. And I just happened to luck out that room was my friend's, because I could have just ended up in a random room.
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so like I went to their room, and I was like knocking on the door, and they're like, what's wrong? And I was just like robo buzzing, and like can't find anybody. They're just like, oh, just come chill out, blah, blah. And so then they had like one of those posters for like Alice, like the caterpillar from like Alice in Wonderland. He's like sitting on a mushroom.
But like a black light. poster.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like they had that in there, and so like it's got like the puffs of smoke coming out of the hookah, and it makes a maze.
Yes.
So like I literally stood there for an hour, and I traced all the possible directions that this maze could go into to try to figure out where the maze went. And every single maze went back into the pipe, and then that's when after I finished the last path, I said, I'm done. And then they're just like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I can't do drugs anymore. They're like, why? I'm like, because every path leads back to the pipe, and I don't want to do that.
Which is self.
Boom! That was another.
Everything leads back to self.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mushrooms are amazing. Like, I'm not that big of an acid head.
Well, it wasn't acid or mushrooms.
Right.
It was just
It was just
Robitussin.
Robitussin.
Yeah.
It's
But
just
like,
Justin.
Which is why you should do mushrooms.
then I kind of like already came to the conclusion I don't want to do anything anymore.
No, Marissa's kind of
Like I'm kind of square-ish.
Kind of square-ish.
I'm square-ish.
Ish.
Like I drank.
She
you
drinks.
know. Well, the
Right.
last time I did pot was 9/11. Like.
The
Right.
fact that you just said did pot
Like-
lets me know you don't smoke on a regular basis.
Right. That's the equivalent of somebody's. How often do you drink?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do the marijuana.
I do the marijuana. Last time I did some marijuana was.
It was like 9/11 because I thought the world was ending, and I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Might as well get high.
So we're gonna be dead tomorrow. It's fine.
No, the world's going to be here for such a long time.
You think so?
100%.
I think
He's
that we're
probably
like
right, he did
6
shrooms.
months out. I don't know.
I think we're 6 months
Oh my
out.
God.
It's going to be here.
You're not getting a birthday.
It's been here for what? Trillions of years? It's going to be here for such a long time.
I mean, I hope you're right. I feel like, and this is where my crankiness comes in, but I don't think that we are. But at the same time, like now I know that you do like a lot of shrooms or whatever, and you're like, we're all balls of energy. And for me, it's like we're nothing but like grains of sand in the hourglass of time. So like I feel like no one is really important because like we're just all part of the beach. But
We're all individual waves in the ocean of love. And it's not the word, it's the acronym of light of vibrating energy. We are all waves in the ocean of the light of vibrating energy.
Okay.
We all are.
Okay.
Stars, cats, buildings.
Every single living organism.
Yes, everything.
It's all part of like one.
Everything. In my opinion, this is all a computer simulation. I really believe that we're a million years in the future, and we're all gray, because every race is fucked. We all have big eyes and long fingers because of cell phones and computers. We have small noses, small mouths, small ears, because no one listens, no one talks, no one smells. The only real communication we do
What
is
size are
this.
the penises?
Oh, it varies. It still varies.
Oh, okay.
But they do kind of become all the one same size.
Oh.
Because it's like the black and the Asian kind of end up balancing out.
We've been saying Blasian
Blasian all day.
Oh, that's great. Oh, what a great
Blasian
coincidence.
all day.
That is fantastic.
That's-
She's all up on Tinder looking on her Asians like, yeah, I'm about to have.
But
a
I really
Blasian
think,
baby.
but I kind of do, there's part of me that does believe it's like maybe 5%. But there's part of me that does believe we are in the future, and we're all of that, and we're trying to figure out, like, we're bored as shit. Like, we're looking at each other, like, why the fuck do we all look the same? So now we go back in time and try to
simulate.
figure out how we got to that point. So you're here at your time, you're here at your time, I'm here at my time, and then when I die, I just get unplugged, and then I go, here's everything that happened while I was on this planet. And here's all the information they put in a database, and then I go back. There's like 5% of me that believes that.
So now,
Oh,
I guess
okay.
like, so how do you? This is interesting.
Like look at like, for example, look at some of the terms that are used in technology that are very religious.
Right.
Scroll, tablets, cloud. What else am I missing?
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you
I
down
know
everything in a cloud, that's heaven.
Yeah.
You're right. You scroll, everything used to be on scrolls.
Yeah.
Tablets, that's
Tablets
what Moses had.
Yeah, Moses.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you in that sense, but
Look
like,
at Apple.
I'm just,
Apple is very
like
Adam
Adam
and Eve,
and Eve, yeah.
and I think that's where we're
With the
going.
bite in it.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
But like, so now, what are your thoughts on like, let's say like because I believe in like reincarnation and stuff like that. So like, but like, how do you explain like a deja vu, like where you feel like you've done something before?
You're on the path you should be on.
Ooh.
Okay.
Every time I get deja vu, I'm going, all right, I'm doing everything right. This
Okay.
is where I should be.
That's
This is
exactly
why
how
I'm
I feel.
experiencing it again. Because this is where I should be.
Yeah.
That's why I'm getting that feeling.
Because I always feel like that's a glitch in the matrix. It's like that like one split second. It's almost like a fart of time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just like time just like regurgitated itself, and it's like, no, you did this before, but then
Right.
this is where I go into like my belief of kind of like reincarnation is that like you just don't know which one of yourselves has done that before. So like you might have done that 200 years into the future, or you might
100%.
have done it 200 years into the past.
100%.
But like you just literally happened to be in that same place, same time before, and recognized it.
Yes.
And
I'm
I always,
on board with that.
yeah, because like I always
Right.
kind of feel like it's super weird. Like, have you ever just kind of like gone to a place you've never gone before, and then but you just know where everything is? Like,
Right.
like you know, it's
Yeah.
Well, dude, have you ever
Right?
just walked around New York?
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
New York City for me has always felt that way. Like I always knew that I was gonna live here, and like I always felt like it was a place I was gonna live. And then I got here, and it wasn't difficult for me to like navigate around the city. And like I moved here with like my best friend at the time, and I'm like walking in the subway. She's like, "Stop me!" Like, how do you know which way to go? I'm like, I'm looking at the signs. I know. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
can-
even have you
I
ever
feel
have
it.
you ever done this? Like I'm a person. I talk to myself a lot out loud, and I'll walk around the city at times, especially late at night. And I'll take a left here,
Which
take
is
a right
great,
here,
which is
I'll
great.
take another left. Like I don't necessarily think about it. It's just like, I'm just gonna go here. And then all of a sudden you bump into someone randomly that you haven't seen in a few years, and it's just like, why is that coincidence happening? Like there has to be something more than just like bands.
Anytime that happens, though,
Yeah.
in New York, I always feel like that's so crazy. That there are, 10, 15 million people
Easily.
in
Yeah.
one space.
Yeah.
and I still run into somebody that I worked with
And that conversation
3 years
matters.
ago.
Right.
Like, how...
Yeah, well, it's
that's
like,
not random.
but it's like, look at bands, right? Like my favorite band, Guns N' Roses, right? You got 2 guys from Lafayette, Indiana, who went to LA. You have 2 dudes who grew up in LA, and then you have 1 guy that came from Seattle. What is it that brings all of them together to create Guns N' Roses? Like, there is some sort of subconscious law of attraction.
Kismet or something.
Like, there's something. Like, how does Radiohead, where they are, come together and form the band they do? How do the Beatles come together and be who they are? There's some form of telepathic law of attraction type of thing. That wavelength, that energy, whatever you want to call it, there is something that makes that happen. It's not just fucking chance. It's not just coincidence. There's something to it. Like, the experiences you have in your life. Like, you take the Beatles, George, Paul, Ringo, John. There's things that happened in their lives that made them create the songs that they ended up creating.
Right.
Like, they had that mindset going in, and somehow they all came together. And it could have been any fucking 4 people, but it was...
They would have never come up with those songs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's
It's really... I don't want to say insane, but it's so peculiar. It's so fascinating to me. Like, there's such a higher level. I think this is where you get into the more of the 10% of the mind, where everyone says, "Oh, only 10% of our mind we use." No, I think we use maybe 25, maybe 50, and it's like how a fly and dogs, like, they see shit that we don't see. They're on a certain wavelength, and they see colors and they see things that we don't.
Right.
I think subconsciously there's a lot of that happens with us that we don't recognize.
Right.
100%. I believe that.
No, because I definitely have had experiences with that where, when I was young, I spent a summer in Portugal, and, like, my last day there, so it was a long story, but, like, my last day there, we decided to, like, get, like, wasted, and we, like, climbed this mountain, and we were getting wasted. And, like, literally, I'm not an outdoorsy person, so I've got no sort of, like...
Yeah, you don't do
I was
mushrooms.
gonna
I can
say-
tell you now.
I'm not an outdoorsy
I was going to
person.
say, you climbed a mountain.
I climbed a mountain.
Smith.
But, like, literally, like, we're climbing this mountain, and there's parts of it where, like, there's, like, you have to, like, rock climb and pull yourself up, and that's not me at all.
Right.
And, like, I remember literally, like, telling, like, this guy that was, like, climbing, like, don't put your foot there, that's gonna slip. And, like, and he's just like, whatever. And then he put his foot, and it just slipped down. But, like, I'm saying there's no godly reason for me to know this. This is my first time in this country. This is my first time ever rock climbing. I don't even know how I'm getting up this shit. I don't even know how I know where to put my feet or anything like that. But it's literally, I had to come to the realization that whatever other part of myself has, like, done this, been here, this is, like, old hat for them, and they're getting me through this, and I'm just going to let them. And I also kind of feel like within the fact that, like, our spirits or souls or whatever have existed in a time frame that we can't necessarily determine, I also kind of feel like we have multiple people within ourselves. So, like, I feel like, you know, like, so, like, a family within, and that, like, there is that person that's, like, the adventurer, and then there is that one that is, like, the diplomat, and there is that one that's, like, the, you know, the class clown or whatever. But I feel like within every person, there are multiple people that help us get through whatever situations that we're in.
100%.
Yeah.
Can't argue that at all.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we're all, you know, like, me at a show versus me on this versus me just in the street. Like, I'm, like, 3 different people.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? But, like, and I'm fine with that. Like, you know what I mean?
That's everybody. Like, that's people in general.
You're different things, different
things,
people.
different people at different times.
Yeah.
And that's just...
Yeah, we're all like
How
the
you are
LL
as a
Cool
human.
J of life, where it's like we're a rapper, actor, you know, writer.
He's amazing,
like producer.
huh?
Like,
Love
we
LL
are
Cool J.
so many things other than just your name. You
Right.
know, I'm with that 100%.
Or
Yeah.
Beyonce.
So
Yeah, get into it because
yeah.
I wrote some weird questions, but
yeah, I'm trying to. So now you're committed to loving yourself.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
Okay, I can tell you the story. Recently, like I'm a romantic at heart, right? You may not tell by my demeanor, but I'm such a romantic. And I don't know, I wouldn't say I was seeing, but there was this girl I was hanging out with. And one day we were talking on the phone, and she was like, I wish I could see me the way that you do. So I wrote her a letter that was like, here's what I see. And I wrote 20 things. Like, here's what I see. And then it backfired completely, and that's fine. But one night I'm hanging out with some friends at a bar, and I was like, I wrote this chick a letter, and I did it in like Eminem style on 8 Mile writing Lose Yourself. I did it in like 10 minutes.
Right.
Just boom, 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 boom. It was so effortless. And then I said to my friends, I was like, but you know what? I've never written a love letter to myself.
Ooh.
And I wonder if I could do that. So then it took me half an hour compared to like 10 to 12 minutes.
Right.
But I wrote 20 things that's like, here's what I see. And it was basically a love letter to myself. And it just, oh man, the doors that it opened up here. Because like the thing that sucks about getting older, and I think it's the only thing that sucks about getting older. I love getting older. But there's that plainness that like a child has, the imagination, like Muppet Babies, imagination,
right.
And you lose that as you get older because life just kind of fucks you.
Yeah, it becomes more.
It just hits you.
Yeah, this is real. This is real.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
But you fucking
You
end
feel
up.
it, though.
You just end up thinking it is. And then I just had one of those where, like, after I wrote this, I have it on me. I carry it with me all the time. I'll read it at times on the subway, whatever else, constantly. Just it's like a nice little reminder. Just like, because at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. You may not like this statement. I don't care who you are. You're fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
You're fucking perfection. Whoever you think is the worst human being in the world, perfection.
They're perfectly shitty.
They're perfect. but the thing is, like, you don't know what love is without hate. You don't, or fear. You don't. Yes. So you need that.
You have to have the bitter to have the sweet.
And that's why it's perfect. Because you need, like, in order to understand that you're a good person, you need to have someone being shitty in order to go, oh, okay, you know what? No, I'm good. Because that's not what you do. That's not how you act.
Yep.
So I think all of this is perfect. And that's something that happened with that letter. And that's maybe like how you mentioned on Facebook where it's like, oh, you seem inspirational. It's just like, no, I think I have such I don't know if it's an understanding or just a belief, a philosophy, but it's just I'm very self-aware. And I think that's a thing that people don't have. And that's what was hard for me because I hung out in this area for like half an hour before this started.
Right.
Because I just didn't want to be late, whatever else.
Thank you.
And like this financial district is just so fucking phony. Like Holden Caulfield would be losing his mind hanging out down here. It would be nothing but phonies. And it's just I'm very self-aware of who I am and what I have, and I'm constantly also questioning, and I'm constantly always trying to understand more,
Right.
Because I have limited time on this planet. Every minute that goes by is more fucking sand going down in the tube, and none of us know how much sand is in our time capsules.
Yeah.
So
I feel
it's
like the second you actually truly figure it out is like this, like the next minute you die. Like I feel like that's literally.
I wouldn't argue that.
Like I feel like literally when you finally like because everyone's like, oh, what's the meaning of life? I personally feel like the minute you actually figure it out and you're able to like solve that riddle, you no longer need to be here. It's just kind of like because then you're gonna share it with everybody else, and then like you're gonna
or they'll crucify you.
You know what I mean? And then it's just kind of like I don't know, a spoiler alert or something like that. And like you can't be the spoiler for the universe. But like I don't know, like I find myself to be like fairly self-aware. Like it's a journey that I'm on, and it's something that I try to work on every day. But at the same time, like, I don't know that I could write a love letter to myself.
Because I was gonna say,
And I thought I couldn't either, and then I did. And that's what was amazing. Because I was like you. I'm like, I don't think I can. I said it to my friends at the bar. And then when we left, because I live off the Wilson stop on the L.
Okay.
So we were at 14th, where it's like the 8th Avenue, where it's the first one going to Brooklyn.
Right.
And from there to my stop, I wrote it all out. And I thought it was something like, I remember I wrote the first two, and I was like, oh Christ, what's the third? And then it came, and then then boom, boom, boom. And then by the time it was my stop, I was done. And I was like, look at that. Because I did not think I could do it. I could do it for other people, because you all need it more than I do.
Back to that, I was gonna say, like, you don't really realize like how people look at you,
Right.
and like, because we've had this conversation where like you're a comedy genius, and like what you do in comedy here in New York City, you're amazing. But like, I don't even think you realize how amazing you are. But that's why I try to tell you that all the time, just because.
I think I have good nights.
Right. Like, that was a good night. But no, but you put people on, and like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. You know, like that.
No, like even like before when like Tim is like, oh, like you know, you say you're so cranky, but you have a big heart, and like, like it's to me, I'm just like, you're saying that.
I mean, the first one I have on here is I see a guy that brings out the best in people, even though he can't see the best in himself.
Right.
And that is so true about me. That's so true. I will make sure you're better and I will never check in on myself.
Right.
And that's 100% thing. But like,
which is detrimental because you got to check in on yourself. Like,
right.
That's important.
Right. But again, I do go back to you all need it more than I do. Like what we were talking about earlier. This ain't my first rodeo. I'm an old soul.
Right.
I might be getting wings when I'm.
I was gonna say, so you feel like you're reaching nirvana after this life,
or the next one, but it's definitely I'm close.
You're close.
I'm close to like I don't need to come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like, yeah, to go through this, and this is what I wrote.
Oh, wow.
I dated it in the whole 9.
And this is all
you have
that's
20
beautiful.
things there?
Yes. Yeah.
What is number 17?
17. Oh, I don't have them numbered, but I will assume. Hold on, real quick. That's got to be 20, 19, 18. Here we go. Here's 17. Oh, I see a guy that drinks a ton so he can wear beer goggles for himself.
I like that.
Yeah, because there's times
So you have to be like drunk enough to accept yourself. Yeah.
And I forget my beauty.
Yeah.
You know, and it's also, especially in I don't know if it's especially in New York, but New York, it's just like one thing about dating that's tough in New York, other than being honest, and that's a whole bit I do, and I still believe it. But the other thing is, New York is a city where everyone's always looking for something better, whether it's a better job, better roommates, better apartment, better.
It's not.
I think I agree with you, but I think it's on such a intense level here. Because there's so many people.
Area,
well, yeah, because you're from here.
No,
too?
I'm from Syracuse originally.
Okay,
yeah.
so
like I'm from West
everything is better than Syracuse.
I'm from Wisconsin, and I see the complacency. People get to like a certain level, they want a job here as a professor, and they're fine with that.
Yes.
So like I'm from Westchester, so like I'm from like a half hour outside of the city, so like my entire life is just like. You don't have the penthouse. You don't have a summer home. You don't have.
But that's
a
because
housekeeper.
you're close to New York City, and that like whole the energy that comes with that. Like when you live in the Midwest, it's very much like okay, you buy a house, you have some kids, you get fat, and you die.
Right.
That's it.
And that's dope. And that's what you do there.
That's what you do there. Like when
but here there's a constant like.
You're not doing
You're
enough.
always yes.
You
You're always
need
trying to
more.
achieve more.
Right.
What
And
else is
whether it's
next?
I need a better lover. Like I said, I need a better car. I need a better job. I need a
an
better
apartment.
apartment. I need a better area to live in. You know,
Right.
it's always you're looking for something better instead of just like
Because there's always
you
like,
live
what's
in
new?
New York.
So what's new?
Do you know how many people don't? Like there's a shitload of people that don't get to live in New York on a regular basis.
But see, that's the gratitude of the fact that like we live here, we get to experience this because there's somebody that is only gonna fucking live in Colorado, and they're never gonna they're not ever come to New York
And that's the
and
thing,
just
like I never
live and die in Colorado.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I never see through the eyes of myself is that like when people are just like, well, you know, something like you're doing stand up in New York City and you know,
Right.
and you're
Not only
shows
doing
in New-
stand up, you produce shows.
But like for me, it's just kind of like, yeah, but I'm not producing Caroline's. Like,
See?
yeah, but
Right.
I'm
Looking
not
for
like.
something better.
It's
You're
like-
looking for something
But
better.
right,
Like,
but that's
I've never done a late night set.
but that's
How
New
like,
York
you
City
know.
mentality though.
And,
Yeah.
and before this thing even started, I was sitting here going, you guys got a theme song, you got a studio, you got a camera going, like you've advanced so much in this podcast in 6 to 8 months. Yeah, it's not Caroline's, but the strides that you've made are fucking humongous.
Thank
They're
you.
humongous.
So they're trying to tell her
They really are.
But
For what? Just a girl from Westchester? I'm just a dude from Syracuse. That's all I am.
Right.
I'm a little black boy from Wisconsin, and
Yeah,
I'm a preacher,
exactly.
okay? Right. Me sitting here doing this is like amazing.
Yeah, and you're doing you.
Yeah.
That's what's great about it. You're doing you. I'm doing me. It's fucking amazing. And there's so many people that I feel sell out on themselves, and it's
Mhm.
all a lot of social construct because you feel like, oh, you got to get married in your 20s. You got to pop out a couple kids, and then you got to
Right.
give all your energy to the children so they have a better life than you. But you never try to make a better life for yourself.
Yep.
And that's why I'm very subconsciously. It's why I'm very kind of anti-marriage, anti-kids, all of that, because I know how much work I need to do on myself before I'm even allowed to tell a toddler or even try to give advice. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how many mistakes I make on a regular basis? I'm a flawed fucking human being, always will be. You've heard me say this, and I'll say it again. We're all damaged goods, trying to be damaged grades. We shouldn't hide it, but the social construct is you should hide that shit. And it's like, no, don't fucking hide it. Show it off, because all of us, it is so hard to fucking be a person. It is so fucking difficult because we don't understand that we are perfection. And
Okay.
like, it blows me away. It blows me away. You never see animals doing affirmations. You never see a lion looking into a river just being like, all right, Leo, you're king of the jungle. Let's get that gazelle. We are the only ones that have to do that to get through a day. You never see a bear with a gratitude list. You never see him be like, I'm thankful for caves. We're the ones that do that. You never see a duck-billed platypus, out of all things, looking up at the sky going, God, why? We are the only species
I'm
that
a trans
does
duck.
that.
That's
Yeah.
a reason to be God. Why?
Yeah, right? Like,
It's
you
like,
made
oh
me
my God,
this.
It's like,
Duck-billed
God, I'm a-
platypus.
Dude,
I'm
Fuck.
a trans beaver and I'm a trans duck.
Yeah,
Right?
imagine
Have you
being-
seen a duck-billed platypus?
Imagine
Fuck.
being a zebra. You're black and white in a colored world. Like, that's got to be one of the most
They're so
difficult
beautiful,
things.
though.
I'm not saying they're not, but imagine
They're
if
the
you are
Derek
just black and
Jeter
white.
of equines.
But like, you're looking at a giraffe and it's got this yellow and brown. Cows, yeah, they're black and white, but there's also the brown and whites. Like, there's variations, and they're just zebras. But they're so content with being themselves because they work on the instinct of, we're living life. This is what we do to get through a day, and we just do it.
Right.
You know, and
Sure.
you try to make it. You try to follow your dreams, quote unquote. The lion getting the gazelle, like that's.
I always feel bad for the chicken because they're descendants of dinosaurs and we eat the fuck out of them. And like dinosaurs
taste
would have like
so
fucking
delicious, though.
demolished us. And we're just looking at these like, I feel like we eat so much chicken because it's like a little bit of our ancestry that's just like, fuck those dinosaurs, we're gonna fry you motherfuckers. Like I just
That's
kinda
why
like-
everything tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
Like even an alligator which is
And
another.
yeah, alligator sausage is amazeballs.
But it tastes like chicken.
Does taste like chicken. It does.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
Yeah, alligator sausage.
You gotta
is
get on
good.
board.
Oh.
That's some down south shit.
Where can
Yeah.
we find that?
Yeah, if you go to any sort of like Louisiana Cajun,
Yes,
kind
100%.
of, yeah,
Yeah, you go to New Orleans, dude, you'll get that in a heartbeat.
yeah. But
I
like
lived
any
there for like 4 months, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
like any sort of Cajun restaurant. I
Back
feel
to
like you could
chicken,
do
though. I
that.
love chicken.
The only people that don't are vegans, and that's all right.
All right, don't throw me shade. with the
Okay,
vegan
because you already
shit.
know I was about to throw some.
I know you're throwing me shade. I
Talk
can
about
feel you
these
throwing me the
vegans.
shade.
You felt it, right?
I felt the shade. I
A
felt
little
the shade.
bit, little bit.
So there's I'm not gonna name him, but there's a fella that like I think is kind of cute. I met him on a dating app,
Got it.
and he is a vegan and he has cats. And so Rodney was about to throw me shade because I am
'Cause
allergic to
She's
cats.
allergic to cats, like deathly allergic to cats.
Okay.
And I
And-
love fucking meat.
Hello, all we do is eat chicken wings every time we're together. Like we're like, you are vegan. Like for me, I couldn't date somebody that was vegan because of the simple fact I like meat, and I know you're gonna judge me when I sit down here and I eat this steak,
Not
or I
if they,
eat
not
these
if they love you.
ribs. But they're gonna
There's no
try to,
judgment.
they're gonna try to turn me though.
Why? They love you. They love you the way you are. If they're with
Tim
you.
believes in love.
Yes. Oh yeah. I told you I'm a romantic. I'm a
Wow.
hopeful romantic.
Yeah, I don't know that I believe in love.
But if
Right.
you're with someone that loves you, Rodney, like you, everything that encompasses you, they're not gonna judge. They're just gonna be, hey man, this is Rodney.
So I had an existential crisis like probably like a year and a half ago. And in the same day I had come to the conclusion that I don't believe in love and I don't believe in free choice. So like yeah, the same day, and it's like it has fucked me for a while. I feel like I'm still fucked by it.
Okay.
But so like essentially like let's say for instance I'll start with the
I'm loving this right now, by the way.
Right.
like I'll
This
start
is
with the free choice, right?
Okay.
So
Right, that
like
was-
which is like you know, and I like the fact and like can you see why I don't need mushrooms? Okay. So like I literally have an existential crisis in the shower and I'm like, fuck, there is no free choice while I'm washing my face. So my whole thing about not having free choice is that every decision that you make is based on something that's happened to you in the past. So like you guide your future with your past. So like let's say for instance you were talking about like you were walking down the streets and then you find a friend.
Right.
But let's say that one of those streets you walk down, you end up getting robbed. The next time that you're deciding to go on one of your wanders, you say, fuck that street. I got robbed in that street. I'm not going on that street again.
Okay.
You don't have a choice in that. Because now the rest of your future has been
Well, you
decided
can
by
still
this
walk
one.
down that street.
You can. But like I feel like
You choose not to.
I don't know that you do. And did that person that robbed you have a choice in robbing you? Because like maybe for whatever reason they had to rob you at that point. Like I kind of feel like
But it's not about you. They had to rob. You just happened to be there.
but did you have a choice of being there?
I mean, you took the right.
Yeah.
It's
But-
coincidence.
But it's like
But
then
that's
I
what-
just say that
that's
that
what you're leaving.
But you
coincidence
took the
is-
You're
right.
not. You're not leaving room for the coincidence.
I don't
Like
know that
this.
I believe in coincidence.
Oh, I do. I say it all the time. Like when you ever have something where
But
like
coincidence
someone's
is
opening
chance.
a door
Like,
and you're
do you
trying to
believe
leave.
in chance?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
that I
someone's
believe in
opening a
chance.
door and you're trying to leave, and people will be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's like, don't be sorry. It's just a coincidence. Like I just happened to be here when you were walking out, and that's all it is. You don't have to apologize for it.
Yeah, I don't know that. I feel like I've come to the point that I don't believe in coincidence or chance, and I kind of feel like every kind of everything that you have, all the decisions that you have come to, are actually just results of things that have occurred in the past.
Yeah, odds. Like
Yeah.
you do odds in your head, but keep in mind
Well, she does
how
that.
much of our head is
That's
ego.
like literally my
That's
but
job.
how much of our head is ego, and then how much of it is life, and so much of it's ego. So much of it is like you think you did something in order to make that robbery happen, and you didn't.
No,
You both did a waltz together. It's a bad outcome, but you both did a waltz together.
so I don't necessarily think that I
Like
did
I don't attract that shit. I don't think about it. It doesn't happen to me. It probably
But that's
won't.
also something, the law of attraction.
Yeah, I never think
Things
about
don't
it.
just there's coincidence, but you also bring things to you subconsciously.
100%.
Like if you constantly think about getting
So
robbed.
like tragedy and loss. So go on.
yeah.
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 In a sense, like
When you-
all
when
the
you-
girls
yeah.
I like, they're messes
Yeah, but you
Why?
subconsciously
because I'm kind of a mess, and I subconsciously attract that.
right, and you don't think about good girls, and you're not attracting good girls because you're not thinking about the good girls.
Dude, I saw a girl on Tinder, and I thought she was somewhat attractive, and then I read her thing, and it was like my ideal date would be us sharing a flask, and I fell in love because it's like, oh man, that's the kind of mess I'd be into, and it's just you attract that by because like again there is this idea if you have your consciousness that says blah 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 blah, then you have your subconscious that doesn't. You don't hear it per se. It's not like these headphones we're wearing, where I hear your voice, I hear your voice, you hear my voice. It's a silent voice, but it's being magnetic.
So like where I would differ from that kind of
This is
thought
great.
is that
I
like
know, we're just talking.
Yeah, this is deep. I love it.
We're so deep right now.
it is that like I'm gonna revert back to we are all different people. Like we're
snowflakes.
no, not that we are individuals or unique as individuals, but that within each individual exists different unique individuals. So like I'm going back to like we are a family within.
Okay.
So like let's say that we are all maybe there might be like 12 personalities or people that encompass all of us. So that we are attracting what those 12 individuals want at any given time.
Yeah, but they
So-
also show up at different times.
Like they all have needs at this. Like I
like the person I was at 20, and the person I was at 30, the person I am at 40. It's completely it's different,
and I'm not disagreeing with that.
but it's still me.
But what my disagreement would be
Okay.
is that, let's say that like all 12 of you were different at 20 as you are at 30. All 12 of you had different needs at that time at that particular.
But I
point
also
in
think it's
time.
like a movie where all 12 aren't present in the beginning. They pop up. They make cameos at different times. So
And-
like
Or
you're not
maybe at 20,
like-
there's not even 12.
So you might start
to begin with.
at 20 you might be 6, and at 30 you
It
might be 12.
Then it's 12.
exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be it. Yes.
Oh,
That would be
absolutely.
a better way to say it. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, but like
And then also when you get older, I bet you that 12 turns to 6, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
you definitely lose other parts.
we
That's-
don't lose,
no,
but you
lose,
just
but
realize
you realize that like
some
this
of
is
them aren't as important as you
Right.
thought they were.
right.
I
Or you
think-
put some things to rest that you used to do when you were 20.
Yes.
And when you're 30, you're not that person.
I mean, some of the shit that
I
I
would-
worried about at 14, dude, I laugh at it now. Like it's not
Oh
even,
my God.
it's not even a thought.
But I was like 14
I don't know.
when we put
But
when you
that's
put
part
that
of the
to
12
perspective-
characteristics that you're talking about.
right.
But that's no longer a characteristic, but it is my past. If that makes sense.
See, like I would like for me, I feel like as time progresses that like I have more people because like more situations have happened that I have come across things that like need to be handled that like other ones could not handle. So like I kind of just feel like maybe at like 14, I was worried about being fat and the cheerleaders laughing at me and
Sure.
not having a boyfriend. And maybe at 20, I was worried about, oh shit, I have a stalker and like my ex-boyfriend is like broke into my apartment and then I might need people to help me with that. And then at 30, it's just kind of like, oh
I
fuck,
wish
like
a motherfucker would.
like you might have one that's like
Sorry, that was funny.
like you might have one that's like I wish a motherfucker would, and you might have one that's just kind of like, you know, like, well, if this shit happens, like move on, like, you know, I don't know, but like I kind of feel like for me in particular, I feel like because the spectrum of people that I've dated and the spectrum of people that I'm attracted to are so varied across the spectrum that there's different people that are interested in all of these people. And then I've like definitely been in situations where like I date somebody and when I meet them, I'm completely like, they're the one, like I like this is like I love this person, and then like 6 months, a year later, I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like, no, like you know what I mean? And then it's just like whichever one liked that one when I first met them, it's not the one in charge now because like this one is just like,
Well,
oh fuck this dude.
Because
Like-
there's 6 sides of you, but there's
Right.
also 6 sides of the other person.
Right, and I feel
So-
like that happens too, is that maybe that person was like completely enamored of me, that one individual, and then 6 months down the road, it's just like, who's this bitch? And then I've got the one that hates me for like 8 months. I'm like, oh, fuck this dude. And when in the beginning, it's just like, oh my God, I love everything about him. And then it's just like, oh my God, if he talks again, I swear to God, I'm going to slip my wrist. Like, it's just like, you know, like, I just feel like,
Yeah, but that's every relationship. They all start wonderful because
Well, that's why they call it work, because it is work. Because
Yeah.
you have to like
but like
continue
eventually
to like this motherfucker.
but eventually it comes down to like
I feel like my
the
most
consistency. And
So-
this is a thing I brought up on the topic thing. We're gonna jump ahead, and I apologize.
no,
But
go
this
do
is
it.
like the thing with sports. What I love about sports is it's such a life lesson because that is literally to me where you can see physically and mindsetly you can see greatness and failure, and you
Right.
can watch it throughout a career for everybody. So when you're in a relationship and when it begins, first of all, what you're coming out of and what you both are coming out of, it's not a happy place. But then you meet someone, you have a great conversation, whatever it is, and then maybe a great night together, a summer night that doesn't fucking end, and then you want that consistency, you want that 4-game winning streak, and sometimes you go 3 games and then you lose, and dealing with that loss and accepting, again, flaws. That's what we hide our flaws. And that's what I think is so tough about being a person, is that you hide your flaws. And if you just let them be, and it's like, this is just what I am. I am perfect, but
Imperfectly
also
perfect.
imperfect.
Thank you.
Right.
Exactly, perfectly perfect.
Yeah. And
Beautifully said.
imperfectly perfect.
and that's where it comes into play, where it goes, all right, do you want to deal with that flaw? Do you want to deal with that flaw? Do you want to deal with that one? That's where after the month of hanging out, that's when that shit starts coming out, and then you kind of wonder, like, dude, I don't know if I want to deal with all those flaws. Maybe they're a reflection on me. And then maybe they're showing some flaws that I have in myself that I'm not ready to deal with. And again, this is why I like mushrooms. Because mushrooms, great
And
callback.
this is what you call a callback,
Yes.
folks.
But the great thing about mushrooms is mushrooms gives you the self-analysis of, like, all right, am I going to still be me? And, like, with everything that I am. Because we're a cornucopia of everything. And so many people think we're just apples or we're just pears.
Well, I feel like the me of you today is not the me of you yesterday, and it won't be the me of you tomorrow.
No, but there's only the moment.
Ooh.
Right.
But there's only the moment.
Yeah.
That's why I don't live in regret. I don't dwell on the past because I am only right now.
Yeah.
And when the next moment happens, I'm only that moment. I'm not the incumbency of everything. I am this moment.
See, like, that's where I feel like I differ from you, is I feel
Mhm.
like the me of today is the sum of yesterday and the possibility of tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
But
So
just like how we were talking about happiness,
constant.
the idea of choice,
Yes.
that's where I think it comes into play. Because that's a choice. You're choosing how you're going to be in this moment. Like, I'll give you an example. Here's an example.
Okay.
I'm agnostic.
Right, I am as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I had an atheist, and forgive me, I had an atheist call me, what was it, a faggot cunt bitch for being agnostic.
Faggot cunt.
Yes,
Bitch.
for being agnostic.
I feel like atheists
Because-
are lazy.
Because I agree.
Hello. Yeah.
But their
that's a
idea
good-
was you're either one or the other. There is no in between. And my idea was God is creator by any standard. You look at any scripture. It doesn't have to just be Christian. You can look at any one of them. God is a creator. We create every moment. We're creating this right now.
Absolutely.
So aren't we all gods?
We are.
Like, aren't we all gods?
I totally agree to that.
We are creating this. You can make this go any way you want. I can make this go any way you want. He can make this go any way he wants. Lee, right? Is that your name, love?
Yes.
Yeah. She can make this go any way she wants. Like, we create all of this. Whether it's in unison or it's in separation. We create all of this. There is a collective consciousness, and there is somewhat a individualness.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the free will comes in. But we create every moment, so we are gods, and we have control over that. But again, everything that is pumped to you from the system, in my opinion, makes you think you have no control, when in fact you have all the fucking control in the world. You have all the control in the world.
I feel like you have control of yourself, but you don't have control over other situations.
Yeah, but you can control moments. Like, you ever see I don't know if you may have, like a fight in a bar.
Right.
I can make that fight happen or I cannot. I can say certain things, I can do certain things. I can control that moment. That other person could do the same.
I have a perfect story for that.
I have another story as well.
Bring it. Both of
And,
you, bring it.
but we
'Cause
also
I'm talking a lot.
so now we have two ouch though.
Did you say you wanted to switch?
Yeah.
We
I-
can second guess those.
Yeah, like we gotta like
Let's bump her. No,
that-
okay.
No, but like can you stay for the next segment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if you want me to, I will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
get
like let's
such good talk. Wow. Yo,
Yeah, I
Right.
think you wanted this more funny, but it's just.
I
no,
mean, but no.
this is
This
just
is
it
what
is
Big Talk
what
and
it
Brewski
is.
is.
It
Like,
just is what it is.
Sorry,
open
I ate
for-
mushrooms like 2 weeks ago, so like I'm
Yeah,
very
you're still-
deep in.
yeah.
Like even my
That's-
writing lately has just been.
That's
I ate
insane.
mushrooms
Awesome.
never, and I'm still on board.
Oh, that's the greatest thing I could have heard. That's great. That's
So like I was at a bar with my friends, and I was in my early 20s. I probably was like 21, 22, and we were at this bar about to play pool, and we didn't realize there was a board that you had to write your name on.
okay.
And so like my friend put money on the pool table, didn't write
Put
his
the
name
quarters
on the
in
board.
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, when that game ended, he put his quarters in the thing, and then he started setting up the balls. And the guy was just like, who the fuck are you? I'm next. And he's just like, well, this is my money. I'm next. I put the money on the table, and there's no other money on the table, so I'm next. And he's like, no, you don't put money on the table. You write your name on the chalkboard. And he's like, well, I don't know. He's just like, which one are you? And so, like, he was, like, literally, like, the next person on the chalkboard. He's just like, well, I guess I'm playing after you. Hurry the fuck up so I can beat you. And so then the guy's like, oh, you telling me to hurry the fuck up? And then he's like, yeah, I'm telling you, hurry the fuck up. You're playing on my money, so hurry the fuck up. He's like, fuck you. You can't tell me to hurry the fuck up. And then he goes and he pushes my friend.
Certainly.
And so, like, my friend, goes back into the wall. And so then he goes and he grabs the guy by the neck, pushes him up against the wall, and then kisses him on the mouth.
Hilarious.
And-
That's hilarious.
And so
Oh,
then
that's
he's
hilarious.
just like, he's like, yo, bro, we still have a fucking problem. And so like, I'm just like, oh my God, Larry, what the fuck are you doing? And so like, I'm looking at the rest of my friends and I'm like, this guy is gonna fucking kill him. He just literally kissed him on the mouth. He's gonna kill him.
Oh,
And so that they're all like, yo, go outside, call everybody, because we're gonna need everybody for this shit. And I'm just like, all right. And so like I'm calling, I'm texting, I'm literally getting like 20 people together because I'm like, this is gonna be some shit. And so the guy's just like, oh, okay, yeah, we're cool. And he's just like, you want a beer or you want to keep fucking fighting? And he's like, I'll take a beer. And then he just like goes to the, he's like, what are you drinking? He's just like, I'll have a Jack and Coke. So he goes to the bar, he gets him a Jack and Coke, he gets a beer, he's like, cheers. And then they click and he's like, now hurry the fuck up. And so then he's like, all right. And it was just like kind of one of these like, wait, what just happened here? Like, because we were so expecting the shit to blow up and his
Right.
boys come
did
in.
they fuck afterwards?
But you could have.
Like, damn.
No, it wasn't.
But both of you.
I wish I was there. That sounds hot.
But not even both. But all the people involved could have controlled that situation in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, your buddy could have been pushed against the wall, and he didn't necessarily have to grab his throat and then kiss him. There could have been other options, and that's what I'm saying. Where it's like we have all the options in the world to do everything,
Right.
and it's just what you choose. And again, this goes back to happiness. Like we choose all of it.
So, we are going to take a quick break, you guys. And we will be right back.
Yeah. But apparently, I'm still hanging out.
Yeah, hang on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Deborah.
Hi
Hey,
guys.
Do you
I'm
want
sorry.
me to stop your broadcast? Stop
Yeah,
it?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, you can.
No, she can stay out there because